And we're here today to talk about why it's important to build a strong foundation in a relationship. What do you think a strong foundation is?
I think a strong foundation would consist of getting to know one another, and I think that that will produce in return balance, structure, and benefits.
That's good. That's good. I think the key component is love, but that is a broad topic. So, just to break it down, I think it comes down to service and sacrifice. So, tell me a little bit more about the balance and benefits of getting to know each other.
I think that in the balance of getting to know one another, in getting to know one another, there's a balance because you get to know someone's favorite color and you get to know what they like to eat, their likes and dislikes, what their comforts and uncomforts, their strengths and their weaknesses. And in that, you're able to reap the benefits of it. So when you know someone, you're able to say, well, like I know that you love lasagna and I know that Italian is your favorite. So if we're going out, I could surprise them and say, let's go to an Italian restaurant, or already have that set up because it's something I've built in our foundation of knowing you. So that creates a balanced relationship.
Okay, and just a follow-up question. Why is it important to have a strong foundation overall?
Strong foundation will help you in the times that are really difficult or hard because every relationship has it. I don't want to say that it would be, I don't want to say that it would be a fallback, but something that you have to build on. Like you were saying that the foundation is a structural type thing. So you have God as your foundation as well. And that's something that is more intended and not just like a fallback.
Yeah, and I agree with everything that you were saying. Service and sacrifice, it kind of goes with getting to know each other and balancing out. But if, like I said, if we love one another properly and correctly, then getting to know each other and getting the balance and the benefit of it just comes so naturally.
Yeah.
Once you love someone and you're really willing to sacrifice for that person and you really submit yourself to be a service to that person, not necessarily looking for benefits or gifts back, but if you can just give to a person unconditionally and just love them for who they are, then it kind of helps establish that foundation. And when that foundation is established, when you, like you said, if you fall on hard times or if winds get to blow or you encounter earthquakes or natural disasters, then you have the ability to stay strong and to be sound. Things you may have to fix a leak in the roof, but you know what I'm saying, you're still good. Your foundation, your bones are still good. So
so when you talk about sacrifice and service, what do you mean on that, and how does that correlate to balance and benefits?
It's a good question. Sacrifice and service is, like I said, just being that to that person, whatever they need. I know my wife is a big companion of time spent in communication. So it is important. That is the key component to a relationship to her. So it's important that I sacrifice, because that's not necessarily my strength, that I sacrifice my efforts into putting forth a service to that area in which she needs to be serviced, that way that she feels that love. And in doing that, it balances, because then she'll move more in her uncomfortabilities into the areas in which I view more necessity in a relationship. So in my service and doing that to her and saying, hey, I'm fully committed to you, I'm fully dedicated to you, I'm devoted to you, I want to make life easy for you, I kind of lose the aspect of myself, which is a sacrifice. And in that, in my service I'm providing for you, then you're providing service back to me and you're sacrificing back to me without me even requiring it or requesting it. So it makes it the balance good. It doesn't feel like someone's just pushing for it. Creating that balance and getting to know each other. What advice would you have for couples who have already established but maybe felt like the foundation wasn't as strong as they felt like it needed to be, and they want to get back to the principles of establishing a strong. Is it already too late to establish a foundation now?
I definitely don't think that it's too late to reestablish or restructure your relationship. If you are trying to restructure, starting with a strong foundation, what I would suggest, or what I'd say do, is to just be open-minded and completely start from fresh. Like, start with nothing on your mind, because that will get you in trouble. Always thinking about, like, he likes sweets, for instance. We talked about this earlier, because I was giving the example that I like sweets, but I definitely don't. So he loves sweets, he loves cakes and different things like that. So if he goes to the store and he's like, well, she doesn't like sweets, or she doesn't like anything like that, so I'm not even going to ask, I'm just going to go home. In our rebuilding process, you don't get that balance, you don't get to know one another, and you don't get to reap the benefits of that. So for instance, what he should have done in an example would be, I'm sorry, I had to use you for an example.
No, go ahead.
What he should have done is to call or send a polite or sweet text, which is, I know this is what he does now, and sometimes very pushy, like, what do you want? I'm not going to leave here without getting something you want. But what he would have done in that circumstance is to say, or in that situation, hey, what would you like from the store? Like, hey, would you like some sweets or anything like that? Or even to just to surprise me, like Gigi's Cupcakes or somewhere, like, hey, I just thought of you, I wanted to bring you something. When you're reestablishing and you're trying to restructure your foundation, or just build a foundation, it's really good to start there. Just like, I don't know anything about you. I'm not going to have preconceived notions. I'm not going to start off saying, like, you don't like this, so I'm not going to get that for you. But I'm just going to start surprising you and doing things like that. That's the art of rebuilding. Because think about it. If you're in just starting a relationship, what you're going to do is get to know somebody. And you're going to do these things when you're first starting out anyways. So that's what I'd say. And then you get the benefits of that. You get to reap the benefits of someone being surprised or just thankful, which you're not doing it to for that reason, but you get to reap those benefits of having surprised someone. Now, in return, most of the time, I want to give something back to you, or I want to surprise you, or I want to go out of the way for you.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that makes perfect sense. But the ultimate benefit in doing that is you're getting a steady foundation.
That's good.
That's the steady, what you call it. But to piggyback off a little bit of what you were saying, is sometimes we have to. I forgot the word again that quick. I'm sorry. Renovating. Okay, to piggyback off of what you were saying is sometimes in a renovation that is, and the key important is just to go ahead and fully gut the house, take everything out of it, get it back down to that foundational piece. Tearing down the walls. The wall symbolizes symbolizes the things in which you have built up, the disappointments, the frustrations, the anger, the sadness, the hurts, the things that you just kind of build up going through the depth of the relationship that happens. Sometimes you build up walls there, sometimes you just have to come and smash them down. And like you said, just start completely open. Start completely over. And the key component to that is having an open mind.
Yeah.
Not holding anyone until what they like or dislike prior. Starting our relationship, starting our marriage, I was not a vegetable guy. And not one of my favorite vegetables is broccoli. I love broccoli. That's something I would never have said prior to meeting my wife. But it was her ability to not be content in an answer and knowing that I was still growing. And that I may not like it at this particular moment, but if you just keep on pursuing it and keep on pushing it, then it will actually, your taste may change. So she just kind of kept her mind open. Yeah. I was like, okay, I tried it this time, it didn't work. So maybe 6 months later, I'll try to throw it back on the plate, see how it goes. So sometimes in a relationship, you just have to kind of keep going back to that thing just to kind of see where it's changing, and just kind of keep it new.
Yeah.
Don't begin to think that you know the other person, because once you begin to think that you know, then you begin to get comfortable, and then your comfortability then you lose the newness in the relationship.
You lose that proneness to know one another, because we're always evolving, we're always changing and developing as time goes. So you don't want to mistakenly say, like, I already know you, since our foundation is already built. These are for like the relationships that are building foundation, and for the relationships that have kind of, because you've already built something. If you know each other and you're at this point, there's something already built. So don't just be like, I already know what this person wants, or I already know what this person likes. Like, you kind of step over your boundaries of getting to know them and letting them blossom or letting them flourish into who that they are. Yeah. It's always like a recycling process. Like, I'm thinking of him and he's thinking of me. So in that, you unselfishly choose the other person over yourself because they're choosing you. Yeah. So you never have to, it's something that you never have to feel like unappreciated or things like that. And this is not a perfect relationship. No relationship is perfect. But as you are filtering out the things that you do like and don't like, and relationship process and all that benefits and just working at it, that part is really important.
Yeah. As you're saying with the recycling, that was a really good point with the recycling part, because once you're giving and then it's giving back and it just continues to do that, the number one instance of selfishness is someone felt left out at one particular time. So they felt the need to have to depend or to take care of things themselves. Thank you, babe. But they felt that need to do that, and it was just for the simple fact that someone wasn't loving them properly or correctly, not whether it was purposely or not. They had to avoid a dependency of taking care of themselves. So I mean, that is very important in the foundation of finding a person, a partner who is willing, who is attentive enough to know your needs and to care, but also is willing to push you into
to grow. Kind of like your broccoli.
Yeah, yeah. See, so now I love vegetables now, so not love, but
and something that you should definitely do is adventure. Be adventurous. So what would the pillars be in a foundation? What would the pillars be, like, leading up or building from foundation? Since it's important to have foundation in a relationship, what would the next thing do? What would the next thing be to do?
I mean, I really think that once the foundation is established and settled, and you're continuing to build the house of love or whatever you want to call it, I mean, I think it kind of will depend on the person, or the relationship, of the needs of the other individuals. But I mean, like, trust, dependability.
I think that builds dependability. Dependability builds trust.
Yeah. So trust. Give me one.
Dependability. Admiration goes.
Admiration and communication is one.
Communication is great.
That's something you have to.
That's definitely something you need.
Is probably number one. Communication is just being able to speak to your partner about everything. Not having to depend on an outside source as a source of venting or release. Your release should be from your partner. No matter how tight the conversation may be, or how uncomfortable it could potentially be. I mean, that is the number one key component, is being able to communicate properly with your partner, and feeling that openness on the pillar. Yeah, on the pillar.
Because in communication, you definitely have that spark of energy. You have that connection. You get to feel each other out and see each other's personality in communication. Like, hey, I like this lip color. I like this nail color. Or I like doing this. I like football. And you kind of get to grow on that, like, because you've already built the foundation. Now we're growing and we're trying new things out. So that's really cool. I think that is very important. I think that it's sustaining.
Yeah.
and it manifests.
Yeah, that's true. And how would you know more about your partner if you never communicate?
Yeah.
So if Tanisha is evolving or doing something in that manner, then I will understand it more through her communication.
Yeah.
And just being open with her and listening, guys. That's a key component for us, is listening, not tuning out. Sometimes we just have the ability to just pick on keywords, but sometimes we just have to clean our mind out and just really fully listen. Just kind of see as far as the era in which she's going in. It's a whole new era before she totally transitioned, and you have no idea where she's at. And you have no idea how she even got there. So, I mean, it's very important that you not only communicate, but listen. To be an active listener, sometimes you have to be quiet. Sometimes her vent isn't necessarily for you to give her correction, but it's to just kind of see where her mind is going, to see the condition of her heart, see which way it's swaying, so that you can kind of know, okay, at this season, she may need a little bit more love. She may need a little bit more attentiveness. She may need me to be a little ginger with her. When before when I see her doing something, I can just come in and strongly correct. Now she may not be at that stage of life to receive something like that. She just need me to be a little bit more ginger, to say, hey babe, I love you. I know that you're going through a hard time, but it's gonna be okay. So I think that communication is very, very important.
Yes. And in that, being gentle, ginger. You're saying ginger.
That's ginger. That's ginger. When your ankle is ginger, then it's
Look at me,
she's never been hurt, guys. She's not an athlete.
I'm not a sports. Hey,
Just,
when I was pregnant,
pretty.
okay, listen. When I was pregnant, I ran a 4. Is it 4.0?
No,
I ran a 4, okay? Yeah. I ran a 4 something, whatever it is. You guys know. I ran that.
4 minutes.
Yep, I did that.
40 and 4 minutes.
No, I did not. I ran a 3.7, and it was, I was like 8 months pregnant at the time.
40 yards in 3 minutes and 7 seconds.
I thought he was mean to say gentle, and he was saying ginger, and so you'll have to tell me about that. Don't do me like that. Okay, so thanks for tuning in our channel.
We really appreciate it, and that was just the importance of
A foundation
in a relationship.
Check us out below.
Stay tuned.